First tonight, the Prime Minister touting a new financial deal worth over $1 billion as a strategic move to create fiscal space. We've got the details from the Budget Communications wrap-up. Plus, the Disaster Risk Management Authority hosting a national disaster readiness simulation in preparation for what forecasters are calling a busy hurricane season. And then, the impact of the abrupt pullout of Silver Airways. The aviation director says some 80,000 passengers were scheduled to arrive on our shores by the end of the year. And then in our news at 7:30, crime is down in all categories across the country. The National Security Minister breaks down the numbers. The details for these stories and more as Our News Live at 7 starts now. This is Our News Live at 7. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepherd. Wrapping up the 2025-2026 budget debate in the House of Assembly yesterday, Prime Minister Philip Davis announced that the government has completed its first international bond issuance since 2022, raising over $1 billion to refinance more expensive older debt. Davis says this new financial deal worth over $1 billion is a strategic move to create fiscal space. He says it will stretch out the country's repayment schedule by over 2 years and shave hundreds of millions off its short-term obligations.
The Bahamas has successfully returned to the international capital markets with a $1.067 billion bond issuance in US dollars. This transaction allowed us to repurchase $767 million in older debts, extend our repayment timeline by over 2 years, and reduce near-term obligations by $451 million.
The Prime Minister also touted the strength of the deal itself, pointing to a final yield of 8.25%, far below the 13.5% the country was paying just 2 years ago. That drop in cost, he says, reflects growing market confidence in government's fiscal reforms.
If you were to look at our bonds, what they were trading at before going to market, this year, it was 8.79%. But once we went to the market, our final rate was 54 basis points lower at 8.25%. If we look at the effective interest rate charged on the last note offering, it was 13.5%. The repricing is 8.25%, which was 525 basis points lower.
With the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season now officially underway, national disaster officials are putting plans to the test, acting out a worst-case scenario, a Category 4 hurricane barreling into the capital and threatening family islands nationwide. Our Delvardo Emmanuel was there as the simulation unfolded.
As the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season officially gets underway, the Disaster Risk Management Agency is putting preparation to the test. This week, the agency hosted a 3-day simulation to assess national response readiness in the event of a major storm striking the country. Leading the coordination effort is Cleon Nixon, Manager of Disaster Operations at DRM, who says the drill involves key emergency agencies.
So what we do as a national preparedness effort, we get all the agencies together and we host a tabletop exercise to prepare the agencies for what may come as a result of a storm coming through the country, right? So today's exercise, which started actually yesterday, started actually on Wednesday, was broken up in 3 phases. The preparation, the response, and the recovery for all agencies, right? So what you see behind me is the agencies grouped into ESF, Emergency Support Functions, where they work together collaboratively to work through the 3 phases, preparation, response, and recovery, in order to see how they can mitigate the impacts of the storm on various islands.
The tabletop exercise centered around a simulated Category 4 hurricane, with winds nearing 140 miles per hour and severe storm surge threatening the islands. With New Providence taking a direct hit in the scenario, officials were tasked with figuring out how to respond locally and support family islands at the same time.
Heavy focus put on New Providence because we are the centralized, we're the capital, so most of our response will come from the capital. So New Providence was heavily impacted, and we're working through the process to see that if something were to happen in New Providence, how we would be able to assist the other affected islands with also ensuring that we're able to stabilize the situation here, and of course, by extent, receive international assistance to get us to stabilize so we can go outwards to the other family islands and then support.
The drill uncovered a number of weaknesses, including communication breakdowns and, a bigger concern, the Emergency Operations Center itself sitting in a flood zone. DRM Managing Director Aaron Sargent says this is the first time the exercise has been done on a national level.
We felt the need to look introspectively at what the exercise is aiming to accomplish, and that's why we coined the term the National Disaster Readiness Exercise, because we have expanded the footprint of the exercise to not only include New Providence, but also include the Family Islands. And so this year, one of the exciting new wrinkles is not just this exercise will take place, but 4 others in 4 regions throughout the Bahamas in the Family Islands, because again, our goal is to equip our Family Island administrators, our Family Islands with the capacity to be able to manage and mitigate disasters at their levels as well.
The drill was spearheaded by the U.S. Northern Command.
It's just really important under the new law and the new mandates to really build up the communications, making sure that everyone knows what they can do, but also the redundancies, so no one works in a silo. It's really important that people know who they go to if someone's out because they have an ill family member, for example.
Also on hand, Parliamentary Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister with responsibility for DRM, Leon Lundy.
Should all be concerned and really preparing for this season if anything like this should happen in Nassau. So I want to make sure that persons know if there is a call for them to evacuate, that they definitely should evacuate.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Darvado Emmanuel.
The official commissioning of the Department of Social Services' newly renovated headquarters took place this morning in the Sunshine Building on Blue Hill Road. In attendance, Prime Minister Philip Davis, Minister of Social Services, Information and Broadcasting Miles LaRota, Commissioner of Police Shanta Knowles, Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Floyd Moxey, and more. The Prime Minister delivered brief remarks stating when it comes to running the country, it's all about how people are treated. He also made this declaration.
It is the mandate of my government, our solemn duty, to help those who need it most, to go the extra mile, to open every door, to exhaust every resource. If it means cutting red tape, then let us cut it. If it means finding $1 more, then let's find it. I would rather our government do too much for someone in need than to be remembered for doing too little.
Prime Minister Davis expressed his gratitude to the employees of the Social Services Department. However, he also left them with this stern message.
I didn't come here to admire a building. I could care less about the paint on the walls or the size of the conference room. What I care about, what I would always care about, is how we treat people who comes into this room. That's why I'm here, just to remind each of us. And I say remind each of us, I'm reminding myself, I'm including myself in this. That's why we do what we do.
A man who filmed the sexual assault of a child and later shared the video has been sentenced as part of a plea deal. Jean Saint-Hill was sentenced to 5 years in prison plus 2 years of probation after he pleaded guilty to abatement to unlawful sexual intercourse and child pornography before Senior Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson. The charges concern an incident in April 2023 where a 12-year-old girl looking for her friend was lured to a home on the pretext that her friend was waiting for her there. When the preteen tried to leave the home once she realized she'd been tricked, Saint-Hill and 2 other men, identified as Harry and M, forced her into Harry's room. While there, Harry and M sexually assaulted the girl while Saint-Hill recorded the incident as he masturbated. St. Till later sent the video to Harry. He was arrested in connection to the incident in June 2023, and he was never released on bail. As a result, the 2 years and 1 week that he spent in custody will be deducted from his sentence. St. Till risks returning to prison for 1 year if he breaches his probation after he's released. A teenage driver is recovering in hospital tonight after he was shot while behind the wheel Thursday evening. The incident unfolded shortly after 5 p.m. off Palm Beach Street. According to reports, the 18-year-old was driving along Homestead Avenue when two men on a motorcycle reportedly approached his vehicle. One of them opened fire. The young man was taken to hospital by a private vehicle and is said to be in stable condition. No word yet on a motive or arrest. Investigations are continuing. Meantime, police say a woman trying to do a good deed ended up the victim of a sexual assault. And now police have launched an investigation. Police say the incident happened around 1 p.m. Wednesday on East Bay Street. That's when the victim reportedly decided to assist 3 unknown men who had asked her for help. When she arrived near where they were, the suspects allegedly forced her into a black Japanese vehicle and sexually assaulted her. Police say the culprits eventually pushed her out of the vehicle and fled in an unknown direction. Aviation Director Dr. Kenneth Romer sharing with the media yesterday that Silver Airways would have been bringing in a significant amount of tourists, particularly our family islands. His comments came as he appeared as a guest at the office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing. Just minutes to midnight on June 11th, Silver Airways announced via its social media platforms that it would no longer be servicing flights to the Bahamas. The abrupt declaration left both passengers and employees blindsided as the airline's sudden departure creates significant disruption in regional travel.
Silver Airways, we had projected that they would have been bringing about 80,000 passengers between June to December of this year. That's a significant number. So I don't ever want to downplay the contribution that they would have made, especially to our family islands. The numbers might seem small, but I can promise you when you look at the Kobe Luthra or another property that's smaller, that might have 20 persons coming, it might not seem to be a large number, but it's significant of our family islands. But there has been some fallout, but at the same time, we've been proactive.
And Roma says no passengers were directly impacted as a result of Silver ceasing operations. He said they were either rerouted to New Providence or made alternative plans.
Some of our smaller carriers who've been really good partners, Jamaica's Air and Tropic Ocean, those who are based in Lauderdale, where Silver really was based also, immediately sprung into action to ensure that there was no displacement of passengers. So we've had minimal, I'm not aware of any persons who have been stranded because of Silver's Air ceasing operations.
Well, it's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg, happy Friday.
Yeah, thanks, Megan. A happy Friday evening, everybody. This is what, TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, and of course, we're moving into the weekend. Nice conditions on the outside, 84 degrees. A little bit on the warm side. The winds out of the east at 10 miles per hour. Feels like temperature still is very warm, 89 degrees on the outside as well. Current temperatures around the islands. We are in the mid-80s. Once again, 84 in Freeport, Alistown, Bimini, Nicholstown, Andros here in the capital. We pick up 83s in Great Harbor Key, Marsh Harbor, Abaco, and over in Governor's Harbor. Into the Central Bahamas, 84 Kemps Bay. You have some showers nearby. 83 Black Point, Exuma, Coburn Townsend, Salvador, also 83. Then pick up a string of 84s once again. Arthurstown, Cat Island, Port Nelson, that's in the Rumkey area. Deadman's Long Island, Georgetown, the Exumas, Southeast Bahamas, 83 Duncantown, Ragged Island, 85 Colonel Hill, Cricket Island, Delectable Bay, and Abrams Bay, 84, 85 in Matthewtown, Inagua. Now, good neighbors to the southeast, Turks and Caicos Islands, you are 84 at this hour. Satellite radar composite, we are in a rinse and repeat situation right now. That ridge of high pressure hasn't budged at all. We do still have some moisture now down near the southeast Bahamas, Turks and Caicos Islands, as well as the Inagua area. Seeing some partly cloudy skies, a couple of isolated showers down there, but due to the heating of today and the low-level moisture, saw some showers and thunderstorms across Andros as well, and just around the Grand Bahama area. We will repeat this tomorrow as that high-pressure system stays with us. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your weekend report is still to come.
Coming up in sports, the country's best youth baseball talent, and of course the screaming parents that come along with them, have taken over the Emera Baseball Park in Grand Bahama. God bless the umpires.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
When the winds rise and the storm threatens, are you ready? This hurricane season, face the fury head on. RTV's Storm Navigator with me, Jasmine Brown, and meteorologist Greg Thompson as we reveal the truth behind the storms with expert insights and life-saving tips. When the next storm threatens, will you be prepared? Because when nature unleashes its fury, knowledge is your strongest shield. Stay safe, stay informed, only on RTV.
Get ready for the new Charlie Banana Show. That's right, banana, B-A-N, Nana. You know how to spell banana. You know, right here on Cable Bahamas, channel 212 every Friday night. It's the Charlie Bahamas Show. It's the season rewind of the Charlie Bahamas Show right here on Cable Bahamas, channel 212. Ain't no bananas in this, except he did try to get on the show. Hey, where'd you get this outfit from? Your closet.
When the winds rise and the storm threatens, are you ready? This hurricane season, face the fury head on. RTV's Storm Navigator with me, Jasmine Brown, and meteorologist Greg Thompson as we reveal the truth behind the storms with expert insights.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th year seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. Baseball has taken over the nation's second city this weekend as the Bahamas Baseball Association hosts the Andre Rogers Junior National Championships. 25 teams and hundreds of athletes will compete over the course of the next 3 days at the Emera Baseball Park in Grand Bahama. The tournament will feature 5 teams in the 8U division, 5 in 10U, 6 in 14U, and 9 in the 12U division. Play got underway yesterday and will continue through to the medal rounds on Sunday.
Buddy Hill's offseason is pretty much about 2 things: getting better for next year and giving back to the community. Hill was in Exuma last week and hosted a one-day basketball clinic for local students in Georgetown.
I think the kids, they love basketball, and if I can come here more and spend more days and work with them and educate them on the right things they need to work on. And it's not about like 1 day, 2 days of camp, but just like helping them over time, because 1 day of camp is not going to be good enough, but just 3-4 days and tapping in between the years and just coming back and giving back, and I think that can go a long way.
The Queens of Paradise softball series got underway last night, and if Game 1 was any indication, we're set for an exciting 3 days of competition. In the matchup of women's professional fast-pitch teams, the Orlando Monarchs took the first of 3 games over the Atlanta Smoke, 4-3 at the Andre Rogers National Stadium. Game 2 is set for tonight, and Game 3 on Saturday. The event is hosted by Don't Blink Entertainment in conjunction with Be For Real Entertainment, and your 10YS Plays of the Week. That'll do it for Our Sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world. As President Zelensky sought to meet with President Trump, hoping to secure more support for Ukraine. Plus, the UN is reporting that cost, lack of time, or not finding the right partner is fueling a global fertility decline. And then, Apple's new operating system is diving deeper into AI. We have the details when our news returns. When the winds rise and the storm threatens, are you ready? This hurricane season, face the fury head on. RTV's Storm Navigator with me, Jasmine Brown, and meteorologist Greg Thompson as we reveal the truth behind the storms with expert insights and life-saving tips. When the next storm threatens, will you be prepared? Because when nature unleashes its fury, knowledge is your strongest shield. Stay safe, stay informed, only on RTV.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available.
back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. As Russia was unleashing its deadliest attack on Ukraine's capital in nearly a year, President Volodymyr Zelensky arrived in the Canadian Rocky Mountains early Tuesday, hoping to meet with President Trump and secure more support for Ukraine from the group of 7 industrialized nations. But as our Sean Hogan tells us, that didn't happen.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky left the Group of 7 summit on Tuesday, saying diplomacy is in crisis, having missed the chance to press US President Donald Trump for more weapons. Host of the summit, Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney announced a major new aid package in support.
We're also sending over $2 billion in funding for drones, ammunition, armored vehicles,
as well as fresh sanctions on Russia. But the G7 wealthy nations struggled to find unity over the conflict in Ukraine as Trump expressed support for Russian President Vladimir Putin and left a day early to address the Israel-Iran conflict from Washington. Zelensky had said he hoped to talk to Trump about acquiring more weapons. On his Telegram account, Zelensky said diplomacy is now in a state of crisis and that G7 leaders need to continue calling on Trump to use his real influence to force an end to the war. While Canada is one of Ukraine's most vocal defenders, its ability to help Kyiv is far outweighed by the United States, its largest arms supplier. It comes after a Russian attack on Tuesday on Kyiv and other cities killed more than a dozen people, including 1 American, according to the US State Department.
A growing number of people around the world say they simply can't afford to have the families they want. That's the warning from a new United Nations report showing nearly 1 in 5 surveyed adults don't expect to have their desired number of children, mainly due to cost, lack of time, or not finding the right partner. The UN says this quiet crisis is fueling a global fertility decline. One woman surveyed says she and her husband have decided to stick with 1 child as they are overwhelmed by school fees, long workdays, and guilt over lost time. Apple is diving deeper into AI, unveiling a new operating system, iOS 26, and smart features like live call screening, image ID, and real-time iMessage translation. The update, which was revealed at the company's worldwide developers conference recently, also marks a design shift to year-based naming across all Apple products. Developers are getting new tools to build AI-powered apps, which Apple says is all a part of its push to stay ahead in the tech race. Still to come on Our News, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was June 20th. And then in Our News at 7:30, after years of promises and updates, the aviation director says Grand Bahama could see a new airport by next year. That's coming up when Our News returns. When the winds rise and the storm threatens, are you ready? This hurricane season, face the fury head on. RTV's Storm Navigator with me, Jasmine Brown, and meteorologist Greg Thompson as we reveal the truth behind the storms with expert insights and life-saving tips. When the next storm threatens, will you be prepared? Because when nature unleashes its fury, knowledge is your strongest shield. Stay safe, stay informed, only on RTV.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a live fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trevor Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
On this day in Bahamian history in 1935, John Berkeley Peanuts Taylor was born in Nassau. In 2014, Taylor, who is known for being an incredible drummer, musician, nightclub owner, and cultural icon, was among 41 cultural giants honored during an art exhibition at Pompey Square. The event was part of the 41st Independence Anniversary celebrations. In 2016, then Free National Movement Senator Dr. Dwayne Sands said he and then Long Island MP Loretta Butler Turner were prepared to take over leadership of the FNM as deputy leader and leader in the upcoming party convention.
I believe that we will. I believe that we have a blending of skill sets that is different from the existing team, and that those strengths will complement each other.
I believe in democracy. Once there's a convention, all positions are open. I believe in democracy. I have no doubt that I will go in as leader and I will come out as leader. I am not.
Also in 2016, a deadly small plane crash on Bimini that claimed the lives of Grand Bahama-based pilot Terrence Gibson and airplane mechanic Anthony Smith the day before left their families in shock. Gibson's family telling Our News they were still processing the news.
I just lost for words right now. I saw him for the last time yesterday morning. You know, he prayed. I mean, the prayer was so touching. You know, he prayed for everyone.
Then in 2017, the secret Bahamas deal was unsealed. Then Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis, who promised on the campaign trail that a Free National Movement government would have the documents made public, made the announcement when he wrapped the 2017-2018 budget debate.
As promised during our campaign, we have unsealed the deal.
June 20th, 2018, a day after the firing of 3 FNM MPs from their cabinet-appointed posts, then Attorney General Carl Bethel defending the Prime Minister's decision.
Your voice is your own as a member of Parliament. You were elected by your constituents to represent them on the floor of the House of Assembly and say whatever the Lord lay on your breast to say.
In 2019, it was announced that as of July 1st, all new and current Bahamian students who met the minimum GPA of 2.0 would be eligible to attend the University of the Bahamas free of charge. Then Finance Minister Peter Turnquest said government took the decision to make tertiary education attainable for all.
The number, if memory serves me, runs about 19 million. And we've provided for that.
Also in 2019, then opposition leader Philip Davis called the Prime Minister's assertion that the PLP awarded $200 million of untendered contracts worth only $3.5 million simply ridiculous.
Yes, there were untendered contracts, just as there are now untendered contracts being granted by this government. But there's nothing wrong, inherently wrong, with that process.
And finally, in 2022, Prime Minister Philip Davis was in the Central African city of Kigali, Rwanda, preparing to meet with leaders of more than 50 nations comprising the Commonwealth heads of government. It was the first time in 4 years the group of former British colonies met due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The group typically meets every 2 years. It was Davis's first CHOGM as Prime Minister. Meanwhile, Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Mario Bole, taking center stage at a youth forum there, highlighting some Bahamian success stories as possible models for other Commonwealth countries to follow.
For all of today's top stories, be sure to visit ournews.bs. That does it for our news at 7. Joining us now is our Italia Hall with the latest.
TGIF. I'm so happy. Well, coming up, a U.S. influencer hosts a women's empowerment conference in Grand Bahama and an update from the National Swimming Championships. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight in our news at 7:30, National Security Minister Wayne Monroe is weighing in on the state of crime across the country. Hear why he says crime is still too high. Also, a midday robbery on Bacardi Road has police on the hunt for 2 suspects. Plus, a 42-year-old mother and her preacher husband now face serious charges. Prosecutors allege the pair sexually abused a woman's teenage daughter in a case that shocked the community. And later, a new airport could be on the horizon for Grand Bahama. Aviation Director Dr. Kenneth Romer says the project could be completed as early as next year. The story when our news at 7:30 returns.
Hey guys, Megan Shepherd here. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to click that subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you stay up to date with content like this from the team you already trust.
At Struckham, we're all about peace of mind. With the latest tools and technology like PestPack, managing pest control just got easier. It's simple. Log on to the portal to review past services or monitor trends. Just tap Service Reports to access detailed records and see how we're keeping your business pest-free. You can even customize permissions so your teams in maintenance and health and safety have real-time access to everything they need. With PestPack, you're in control, anytime, anywhere. Get ready to simplify pest management with just a few taps.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Well, crime is down in every category across the country. That's according to a report by the Royal Bahamas Police Force presented in the House of Assembly by National Security Minister Wayne Munro. While this is good news, he says the numbers are still too high.
There is a 15% overall decrease in major crimes. There's a 25% overall decrease in crimes against the person, including murder, attempted murder, rape, unlawful sexual intercourse, armed robbery, attempted armed robbery. There's an 11% decrease in crimes against property that includes burglary, house breaking, shop breaking, stealing, and stealing from vehicles.
He also commended the 2,700 officers that are part of the force, Munro adding that this is a regional decrease in crime across the board.
Rates of 14% in New Providence, 14% in Grand Bahama and the Northern Bahamas, and 19% in the Family Islands generally. Over 292 firearms were taken off the street, along with 20,024 rounds of ammunition. Over 3,000 pounds of marijuana was seized, along with close to 2,000 pounds of cocaine, 43 marijuana plants. 1,142 persons were arrested for dangerous drugs. 910 were charged. And there is, they say, a 9% decrease in murder during the fiscal period.
Well, police are searching for two suspects following a bold daytime robbery on Bacardi Road. It happened shortly after 3 p.m. Thursday. Authorities say a man was approached by two men, one of them armed and robbed at gunpoint. The pair then escaped in a white Japanese model vehicle. Investigators are appealing to anyone who may have information to contact police or Crime Stoppers anonymously. Well, an appeal court has upheld the conviction and a 4-year sentence handed to a man accused of the sexual assault of a 13-year-old girl. The man's name has been sealed by the court and he was identified only as Mr. According to the evidence presented in the case on September 11, 2020, the teen went to Mr.'s home to visit his wife, who is her mother's friend. Mr. told the girl that his wife went to his mother who lived nearby. The girl decided to wait and she sat on a chair by the door. After about 10 minutes, the girl told Mr. that she was leaving. At that time, Mr. locked the front door before he grabbed her, pushed her onto the bed, and had sex with her against her will. He sent the girl home and told her not to tell anyone or he would kill her. Well, a 42-year-old mother is behind bars after prosecutors allege that she sexually abused her teenage daughter along with her 45-year-old preacher husband. The Nassau residents appeared before Assistant Chief Magistrate Carolyn Vo Evans on charges of unlawful sexual intercourse with a dependent, while the mother faces a separate charge of failing to report the abuse of a child. Prosecutors allege that the man, a self-professed prophet, molested his then 15-year-old stepdaughter in December 2022. It's further alleged that the man and his wife molested the girl together in June 2024 and February 10, 2025, when she was 16 and 17. Prosecutors allege the mother failed to report her daughter's abuse. They were not required to enter pleas to their charges and bail was denied. The couple returns to court on June 30th to receive voluntary bill of indictment papers. Well, Grand Bahama could see a new airport by next year. Those comments coming from Aviation Director Kenneth Romer, who said as much as the guest at the office of the Prime Minister's weekly press briefing on Thursday. Now, the airport was badly damaged during Hurricane Dorian back in 2019 and has not been properly redeveloped since. Back in February, Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper revealed that a deal for the airport was finally executed. Following the signing of a heads-of agreement for the sale of the Grand Lucan Resort in May, the DPM said that its developers expressed the need for a bigger airport. Romer said he's optimistic.
When we speak about the first phase, we speak about the planning phase, because before there can be active construction, there has to be meticulous planning. So there has been months of planning for the Grand Bahama International Airport, and I won't preempt the Deputy Prime Minister or the Prime Minister, but I've been advised that great news is coming very soon for Grand Bahama, and all of the plans for construction are urgent. Grand Bahama has been long awaiting it, and I'm very optimistic that Grand Bahama will see a new airport come 2026.
And while the aviation director did not share any more details on the airport, he did say he is personally invested in the project and that an announcement will come very soon.
I'm a part of the community in Grand Bahama, and Grand Bahama has been long waiting for something to happen. I've lived through Francis and Dean in Grand Bahama. I would have been impacted by Dorian in Grand Bahama, and I've given Grand Bahama my assurance, as has many others who are invested in this particular project, including the Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, and many others, that Grand Bahama is front of mind. It took longer than I personally would have expected, but Grand Bahama can expect great news.
Well, the Bahamas Department of Marine Resources and the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources hosting a fisheries workshop for law enforcement at Super Club Breezes Resort under the theme Enforce, Protect, Sustain. During the three-day workshop, officers from various agencies heard from several speakers that work in the ministry or are ministry partners, all of whom amplified the message of the event's theme. One of the speakers, Undersecretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources, Montez Williams, urging officers to not be deterred from doing their job. He says that their services are not for governmental pleasantries, but rather to the Bahamian people, emphasizing that it is an oath that should have integrity and not be compromised.
You have a great honor to be the guardians of the sea. Isn't that a movie? Or Guardians of the Galaxy. Okay, so you are the Guardians of the Galaxy, of the sea. Part 2. So you are there representing the entire Commonwealth of the Bahamas. So when you come across somebody who think they're bigger than you, better than you, and they have the Prime Minister's contact in their phone, just tell them you are the guardian and you're doing your work, and you just call me.
Well, we started the day off with light showers, but beautiful weather overall on this Friday evening. Hopefully we see some nice temperatures for the weekend. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg, what can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks, Italian. Welcome everybody for a quick check on conditions on this TGIF Friday. Beautiful conditions on the outside, a little bit on the warm side as well. 84 degrees, east winds at 10 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 89. Satellite radar composite, we are basically quiet across the area. Ridge of high pressure remains a dominant weather feature, but we still have that east to southeasterly wind flow bringing in some spotty showers across our area. Northwest Bahamas seeing quite a bit of that this afternoon, and we will continue to see that throughout the rest of the weekend. A couple of small showers here in the capital up near Grand Bahama. Isolated thunderstorm near the Andros area. Turks and Caicos Islands, Inagua seeing some cloudy conditions as well. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. A look at your weekend forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, it's a business boost like no other. Alive is giving local entrepreneurs a chance to rebrand and restart. Our Danielle Miller has the story. Plus, she's become one of the country's biggest supporters. U.S. influencer April Holt-Smith brought her message of purpose and power to Grand Bahama recently, hosting a women's empowerment event with a dynamic lineup of speakers. And that's all coming up when our news returns.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Alive's mandate to support local businesses led to the establishment of the Ultimate Business Makeover. In its 3rd year, the campaign recently presented this year's winner with the latest technology to improve their operations. Our Danielle Miller has the story.
I cannot believe it. No longer than this morning, my mom said, "Are you sure it's real?" I said, "I am going there, and I will let you know." And I can't believe it.
That's Fernell Adderley, team member of Lullabies and Laughter Daycare Center and the winner of Alive's annual Ultimate Business Makeover, expressing her pleasant surprise to be this year's recipient. It was in January of this year that the micro company made the switch to Alive Fiber, automatically entering them to win the makeover. That simple switch has now awarded the business a check for $2,500, along with advanced technical equipment like a smart board. Head of B2B marketing for Alive, Jennifer Baston, tells us more.
We are joined with our partners today, which is RBC, Custom Computers, and Boss, as well as Huawei, to make a presentation that's valued at just about over $20,000.
Baston says this is just one of the campaigns the company and its partners look forward to, as it gives them the opportunity to push the envelope on the level of support that is awarded to the micro, small, and medium businesses across the Bahamas.
We're always excited to join forces with our partners to be able to make a greater impact in supporting the business community.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
All right, way to go, Alive. Well, it's that time of year when lots of local Bahamian brands drop their Independence clothing line. One brand we've continuously followed is Eyes of Bahamian Boy. Our Sasha Lightborn caught up with the owner this week.
So this collection is called Girl to the Island, and this is one of the shirts that I'm currently wearing. So I really like to travel personally, and so I thought that would be cool if, how we are an archipelago, if each island had its own travel stamp.
Cache Knowles has been creating apparel for her Eyes of Bahamian brand now for 6 years. And once again, this year, she has curated a special line for the country's independence celebrations, dubbed Gurn to the Islands.
So I basically designed a different travel stamp for each island in the Bahamas. And it's basically in this design, each island has its own symbol because each island has its own vibe, has its own thing that it's known for.
And Knowles' creative process is heavily connected to observing Bahamian culture.
I want to create a theme around this product, and it is to do with the islands and showcasing that each island is different and unique. So I was just okay, we're going to showcase the island. And then from that, you just sort of start brainstorming, okay, so Andros is the crab, Eleuthera is the pineapple, and I've been wanting to associate different islands with different symbols for years now.
But I was curious, so I asked Keshe whether she's been to all of the islands.
No, I want to. That's my long-term dream. So I've been to, I think, maybe 7 islands.
So how can you get your hands on the merch in time for Independence Day?
Everything is going on my website on Friday. So Friday, you'll be able to completely order everything that you could possibly want. Get one of each, buy for your whole family. I also partnered with Bonneville Bones in the mall, and they're going to actually be carrying my entire collection as well. Independence collection and things that I've had like either before or that I will have in the future as well.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Sasha Lightbourne.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When Our News comes back from the break, a women's empowerment event to remember, hosted by U.S. influencer and TV personality April Hull-Smith at the Grand Lucine Resort. From networking to inspiration, the event drew women from across the island recently.
Coming up in sports, the BBA Junior Nationals get underway in Grand Bahama, Buddy Hield pops up in Exuma, Queens of Paradise softball thrills on night 1, and of course, a special edition of the 10YS Plays of the Week.
And will we see sunshine or rain this weekend? Greg is back with your extended weather when Our News returns. Stay with us.
INTI Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, INTI redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. INTI is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as INTI Corporation shines brighter than ever. INTI Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
When the winds rise and the storm threatens, are you ready? This hurricane season, face the fury head on.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. Baseball has taken over the nation's second city this weekend as the Bahamas Baseball Association hosts the Andre Rogers Junior National Championships. 25 teams and hundreds of athletes will compete over the course of the next 3 days at the Amera Baseball Park in Grand Bahama. The tournament will feature 5 teams in the 8U division, 5 in 10U, 6 in 14U, and 9 in the 12U division. Play got underway yesterday and will continue through to the medal rounds on Sunday.
Buddy Hield's offseason is pretty much about 2 things: getting better for next year and giving back to the community. Hield was in Exuma last week and hosted a one-day basketball clinic for local students in Georgetown.
I think the kids, they love basketball, and if I can come here more and spend more days and work with them and educate them on the right things they need to work on, and it's not about like 1 day, 2 days of camp, but just like helping them over time, because 1 day of camp is not going to be good enough, but just 3-4 days and tapping in between the years and just coming back and giving back, and I think that can go a long way.
The Queens of Paradise softball series got underway last night, and if Game 1 was any indication, we're set for an exciting 3 days of competition. In the matchup of women's professional fast-pitch teams, the Orlando Monarchs took the first of 3 games over the Atlanta Smoke, 4-3 at the Andre Rogers National Stadium. Game 2 is set for tonight, and Game 3 on Saturday. The event is hosted by Don't Blink Entertainment in conjunction with Be For Real Entertainment. Next week, all eyes will be focused on New York when we answer the question, VJ, where are we going? But before we do that, we look back at where we've been in a special VJ Edgecombe edition of Top Plays. We get started at number 5, back hooping at home for the first time in a long time. VJ put on a show for the home crowd and for Lou High at Hoop Fest.
At number 4, VJ Edgecombe made his senior team national debut, and he had 3 NBA players with him. Look how good it looks.
Coming in third, Baylor had him for a few months, but they got enough highlights to last a lifetime. The Few family will never forget this one.
At number 2, everything is better in the Bahamas jersey. VJ's been showing everyone for months he's ready to face NBA talent. Vucevic knows.
And finally, at number 1, before the legend started, back when a 13-year-old kid was punching above his weight class at high school nationals, from Gateway Christian Academy to the Association. And of course, we'll use this opportunity to say that 10YS knew all along. That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. I gotta say, most entertaining softball game I've ever watched.
It's gonna be a very long night again.
Or a long weekend.
Long weekend.
Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, U.S. host and motivator April Holt-Smith is spreading her love for the Bahamas and her message of empowerment with a major event held recently in Grand Bahama. And Greg is back with your extended weather forecast when our news continues. Stay with us.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the Our News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Sasha Lightborn here, and thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow all of the Our News social media pages to make sure that you don't miss those top stories from the team you already trust.
Get ready for the new Charlie Banana Show. That's right, Banana, B-A-N, Nana. You know how to spell banana. You know, right here on Cable Bahamas Channel 212 every Friday night.
It's the Charlie Bahamas Show. It's the season rewind of the Charlie Bahamas Show right here on Cable Bahamas Channel 212. Ain't no bananas in this, except he did try to get on the show. Hey, where'd you get this outfit from? Your closet.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was
This is our news. Welcome back. As we end the week on a very nice note, high pressure ridge remains in charge of our weather, and that's going to continue to dominate us. Centered in the eastern and western Atlantic and stretching across the central Gulf of Mexico. Not very much happening with that high. It's not going to go very far, but we do have a deep troughing just to the south of the Bahamas, and that's helping to spark some showers and isolated thunderstorms across the Turks and Caicos Islands as well as Inagua. That east to southeasterly wind flow, that will bring some Atlantic moisture across us, so we're looking at some spotty showers, isolated afternoon thunderstorms in the forecast for the next couple of days, and that high pressure will take us into next week with some very warm temperatures as well. The tropics, quiet at this time, nothing happening out there in the open Atlantic. Very weak tropical waves moving off the African belt, one just coming off, another in the central Atlantic, and then we have one approaching the Windward Islands. That one is well to the east of that. The Caribbean, quiet at this time as well. Nothing happening there, but we have that upper level trough, as I mentioned, digging in, and that's helping to trigger a few showers and thunderstorms with that very weak wave across that area. Gulf of Mexico also remaining quiet at this time. Nothing happening out there. Closer to home, though, that ridge will stay with us through the rest of the weekend and into early next week, and we could see some isolated thunderstorms. Some of those could be strong during the afternoon hours. Taking a look at the future forecast, spotty showers moving across area through tonight and into Saturday. And of course, most of the activity will be fast moving. Most of the activity taking place across the northwest Bahamas as that upper level trough helps to trigger some of those showers and thunderstorms. for us during that time frame. Boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight to tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the east to southeast at around 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over open waters. Low tide will be at 10:29 tonight. Your high tide takes place at 4:17 in the morning. For the southeast Bahamas, caution flag in place for you guys down there. Your winds a little stiffer east to southeast, 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 6 feet, and they will be occasionally higher along Atlantic exposures. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, we'll see some spotty showers moving in off that east-southeasterly wind flow, courtesy of the high pressure. Temperatures will stay in the upper 80s. We could see some 90s for the weekend, but those feels-like temperatures will be approaching the upper 90s to the triple digits. Keep some breeze in the forecast through Monday and Tuesday. Isolated showers in the forecast during that, and we could see some beautiful conditions, but it will start warming up by early to mid next week. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night. Have a great weekend, everybody.
All right, thanks so much, Greg. Well, she's not Bahamian, but she sure loves the Bahamas, and she's making it her mission to tell the world why. U.S.-based television host and social media influencer April Holtzman recently brought her brand of positivity to Grand Bahama, hosting a women's empowerment event at the Grand Lucayan Resort. Smith, who runs the April Smith Network, welcomed residents and international guests to a powerful weekend of connection, motivation, and purpose. The event featured a lineup of dynamic speakers, including spouse of the Deputy Prime Minister Cecilia Cooper and Grand Bahama Minister Ginger Moxie. Both challenged attendees to rise to their potential.
People think that I'm Bahamian. I'm not. I'm from the U.S., but I love the Bahamas. Can you tell? I love, because y'all make me feel so welcome and loved.
Working in purpose is an attitude adjustment as well. You have to adjust your attitude to be where you want to be. Because you have to change just a little bit. You're not there yet. There's somewhere else you gotta be.
I am committed to championing initiatives that empower people in general, but women in particular. Initiatives that ignite game-changing opportunities, ones that support collaboration and uplifts our communities. When women rise, families thrive.
These attendees sharing their experience.
I'm here because I love the networking space. Iron sharpens iron, and I believe that when creative minds come together, great things happen.
I consider it self-care. You know, so many times we are pouring out, and we need to take advantage of these opportunities to pour in, to be poured into.
All right, looks like it was a great event. Now turning to sports. Following day one of competition, Mako Aquatics is leading all teams at the 53rd Bahamas National Swimming Championships. Going into day two, Mako had 677 points along with 58 medals, 30 gold, 14 silver, and 14 bronze. Mako also won 8 of the 10 relays on night one. Rounding out the top three was Alpha Aquatics with 316 points and Barracuda Swim Club with 301 points. We caught up with Mako's head coach, Trevano McPhee, at the end of the day one.
They're looking pretty good. You know, very strong day, more than I expected. Like I said, we had our eyes on some records, and some of these guys, you know, surpassed them. The relays did outstanding, winning 8 out of the 10 relays. And we had multiple records today by Will Farrington, Denton McKenzie, and a lot of the relays. So very proud of the team. First day we came out the gate hot, and we look to, you know, do some more damage tomorrow.
He also spoke about keeping his team inspired with several days of competition still left to go.
Just recovery for the 4 days, you know, staying, you know, mentally focused, not getting too hyped up on the first night. You know, you can, you know, kind of waste energy. So just keep them under control and, you know, motivate them. You know, we had some great swims, so that helps, you know, carrying into the second day. For those who might not have swam how they, you know, would like to swim, you know, tomorrow's a new day, so I encourage them just to wash it off and, you know, bring your best tomorrow.
All right, well, be sure and stay tuned following this newscast for continued live coverage of the 53rd Bahamas National Swimming Championships right here on Channel 212 and Channel 205. You can also watch it on Our News and Our TV's original Facebook pages. And with that, we thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.